Notice of a public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of the said city, will convene an executive session and a regular meeting on Tuesday, May 5th, 2015, at 5:50 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the Commission's chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall, Old Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County. Executive session.
Mayor, I move to go into executive session.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Brad?
Please remain standing for the invocation. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for this nation we're blessed to be a part of. We thank you for the city of Brownsville. Lord, with the elections coming, we thank you for those that are willing to run for office, and we thank you for these leaders here before us tonight. Lord, we ask you that every good intention, every blessed idea that's in the heart of these leaders, we ask you to bring it about. We ask you to lead and guide each of them in the meeting tonight and bring about the best for the city of Brownsville. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. While I'm here, I also want to invite everybody to the National Day of Prayer, which is Thursday, this Thursday, May 7th, at Sam Stadium at 6:30. And this is all the churches in Brownsville taking part. I don't know what the count is, but a lot of them. Last year there were 1,000 people, and they're expecting a lot more this year. I'm supposed to have invitations for each of the leaders. Come with or without the invitation. We have a special place for all the politicians and those also running. And I'm the one that gets to introduce all of you. And so we'll be praying for you, and would like to have you join us in prayer there. And the public, everyone's invited. 6:30, Sam Stadium, this Thursday, May 7th, to pray for our nation, state, and our city. Thank you.
Okay, and Brad, make sure that the city secretary gets that, and city secretary, go ahead and email all of the commissioners to remind them of that particular event, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brad, appreciate it.
Action item on item discussed in executive session. Consideration and action on resolution number 2015-045 to authorize the sale of a 0.163 tract of land located at East Jackson Street and FJRM Avenue and dealing with related matters.
Mayor, members of the commission, we're asking for a motion to approve the sale of this property to the University of Texas System for the appraised value of $43,000.
Approved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Mayor's activity update.
I have no activity update.
Item 2, Commissioner's activity update.
I'd like to start. So this is some of us, one of the last meetings that we will ever be serving, maybe, because we're in an election cycle. Also, to remind you, early voting closes at 8 p.m. today at the elections office. And if you haven't had a time to go vote, you can still vote this Saturday. The polls will be open. It's regular voting, so you have to vote at your precinct headquarters. And I'm starting to choke up, I'm sorry. I have had a wonderful, wonderful time representing District 2. I hope to continue, but it has meant the world to me. I'm sorry, maybe because I'm pregnant. But it's meant the world to me to represent District 2 and to have had the chance to make a difference in so many lives and to work with my community on so many wonderful projects like Portway Acres and things like that. So I just want to thank everybody for 4 years that have been wonderful, and I hope to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners have any activity update?
I also have a report. At today's United Brownsville Board meeting, we had several announcements. One of them was from TSC. Texas Southmost College will have a community forum on education. It's free admission, open to the public, and they will be having John Fallon, CEO of Pearson. It's an education seminar, and it will be moderated by Pedro Rojas, national news correspondent for Univision. It's on Friday, May 15th, from 4:30 to 6 p.m. at the Set B Lecture Hall. Another item that was discussed was actually something that I hadn't heard of, which led me to ask Ruth, our Assistant City Manager, about Wi-Fi in a lot of our parks. We actually have Wi-Fi in 10 of our 28 parks. And it was brought to my attention by United Brownsville, who is working together with BISD to include the infrastructure of BISD schools so that not only we will have free Wi-Fi access for our general community in our parks, but in also our school system. We have, out of the 28, we have 10 public access parks with free 24/7 Wi-Fi, 365 days a year. We plan on using City of Brownsville staff, MIS, Parks, and Public Works to complete the project and maintain Wi-Fi without third-party maintenance contracts. The average cost per park is $1,500 to $3,000 per park, depending on the number of radios required. And the plan for fiscal year 2015 is to install 4 Wi-Fi locations at Morningside Park, FM 511 Kickball Field, Sports Park, and another park that still remains to be determined. And for fiscal year 2016, we would like to install Wi-Fi at 15 other locations. So that's just something that I think the general public should be aware of, and the commission as well. And huge kudos to all of our staff that has been working on this effort, really directed by themselves and Ruth. No commission.
Yeah,
So,
I think I was aware of that, and thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Ruth and company, as well as the BISD. They've been working in tandem with that particular effort, and I applaud that very much. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo Commissioner's sentiments and invite the people to please come out to vote on Saturday. For those of you that haven't early voted, please exercise your civic duty and please come out and vote on Saturday. Elections are going to be going on all around the city from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we always tell people, you know, if you don't go out and vote, you can't really complain. Because those of us that sit up here, it's thanks to your vote and it's thanks to, you know, your confidence in those of us that sit up here. So once again, for anybody that has not gone out to vote, please make time and go out and vote on Saturday at your designated precincts from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we'll have results that night. Also, Public Works, thank you for all the work that you've been doing out within the area. We've got a couple of more concerns, but that's nothing new, right, Santana? So thank you for all of that. And Mayor, for everything that we do, we did have a couple of meetings with Dr. Sendejas, and I believe that this is one of the first times, at least in my years here, where we've had a very good open line of communication with BISD. I know you've had your meetings, we've had our meetings also, and it's really coming together. I mean, the unitedness as far as her willingness to come in representation of the board and willing to work with the city in projects and coming together, and most importantly, our tax-paying dollars. You know, when we work together, we're able to save, they're able to save, and we're able to get a lot done together. So, you know, thanks to Dr. Sendejas for all of that. And on a personal note, I want to thank Mr. Principal Frank Ortiz from Cromack Elementary. He contacted me today, and he had a committee, and BISD is going to be focusing on recognizing distinguished alumni from their schools. And this is the first time they're going to do it, and I'm just grateful that the teachers in the committee selected me as their representative for my alma mater, for Cromack Elementary, and they're going to be having a ceremony at the end of the month, and
Well,
it's just,
congratulations.
it's really nice to be able to receive that kind of a recognition from my alma mater.
Congratulations.
I like
Well
how you
deserved.
could say that without crying.
Okay. John.
Mayor, I just have a quick comment. Also today at the United Brownsville meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, Debbie, but one of their board members reminded us of a fundraiser that's going on tomorrow for BISD. They're trying to raise funds to get their state champion soccer team rings to commemorate their state championship. I believe tickets are $25 for the event. You'll be served food. Excuse me. If you can also just make a contribution if you can't attend. I don't have Minerva's contact information, but if you want to email me, john.villarreal@cob.us, I'd be more than happy to forward it to her, so we can get these boys some recognition that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. And just so that the public knows, we did do a proclamation for last Tuesday, I think, Jessica. It was their day. Rivera soccer team went 28-0. They're to be congratulated, and it was basically a wonderful event because I think their motto of believe in BISD, and we told them, if you believe, you can achieve, and they did. So many, many kudos to them. Proclamations, motorcycle awareness. I see my motorcycle friends. Who's going to read that proclamation?
Motorcycle ride.
Why don't y'all come right here? Hi, Steve.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here, and thank you for the signs that have been going up around town, raising motorcycle awareness. They're all over the neighborhood, they're all over the city, and thank you for raising awareness so that people can be conscientious if we're on the road, when we're riding our bikes. And once again, promoting safety, and for people to have a heart. It's not just about bikes, it's also about motorcycles. So for all that. So once again, this is a proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, declaring the month of May as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month in our city. And whereas today's society is finding more citizens involved in motorcycling on the roads of our country, and whereas motorcyclists are roughly unprotected and therefore more prone to injury or death in a crash than other vehicle drivers, and whereas campaigns have helped inform riders and motorcyclists alike on motorcycle safety issues to reduce motorcycle-related risks, injuries, and most of all, fatalities through a comprehensive approach to motorcycle safety. And whereas it is a responsibility of all who put themselves behind the wheel to become aware of motorcyclists, regarding them with the same respect as any other vehicle traveling off the highways of this country. And it is the responsibility of riders and motorists alike to obey all traffic laws and safety rules. And whereas we urge all our citizens of our community to become aware of the inherent danger involved in operating a motorcycle, and for riders and motorists alike to give each other the mutual respect they deserve. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2015 as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month in this city, and further urge all our residents to do their part to increase safety and awareness in our community. And it's done on this 5th day of May 2015, and it's signed by Antonio Martinez, the mayor of the city, and the City Commission. Thank you, gentlemen.
I'd like to thank the City of Brownsville for taking time out for us, and of course, it's nationwide that we're doing this proclamation, so we do appreciate your time. I'm saddened to say that this weekend, the police chief of Corpus Christi got in a motorcycle accident, and apparently he took himself down in a slide because there was a juvenile apparently driving an automobile that shouldn't have been there or something like that. But unfortunately, he wasn't wearing a full-face helmet. He did have a helmet on. He did have a head injury, and he did not make it. So a lot of the bikers in Corpus Christi are definitely praying for his family and those that know him. So just be safe, young and old. We just ask you for a little respect on the road. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, guys.
I'd just like to make one comment. I really appreciate Venus person of Brownsville, the clean election that I've seen you guys run so far this year. And it means a lot to me.
Thank you, Steve.
Proclamation Elder Abuse Prevention Month.
Okay.
There you
Thanks.
go.
Thank you for joining us, making time and coming to our meeting. And this is a proclamation that I think maybe our Commissioner Tetro should have read, because she's been very involved in shedding light on elder abuse cases here in the city. But I think she's got another proclamation she'll read. But I really appreciate you all being here to receive this. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, proclaiming May 2015 as Elder Abuse Prevention Month in our city. Whereas people who are elderly or have disabilities have contributed to the general welfare of Brownsville, Texas by helping to preserve customs, convictions, and traditions of many people from diverse backgrounds. And whereas these residents are vital and integral members of our society, and their wisdom and experience have enriched our lives. And whereas abuse of the elderly and people with disabilities in domestic and institutional settings is a widespread problem, affecting hundreds of thousands of people across the country. And whereas in 2014, there were 81,681 completed investigations of elderly and disabled persons abuse in Texas, of which 54,731 were confirmed. And whereas elder abuse is grossly underreported because the elderly who are being abused find it very difficult to tell anyone and are usually ashamed and sometimes afraid. And whereas elder abuse happens to men and women of all income levels, all cultural and ethnic groups, whether they are in good health or incapacitated in some way, in poor neighborhoods and in suburbia. And whereas many of the cases investigated by Adult Protective Services in Texas involve self-neglect, and it is our duty as citizens to reach out to these people in need. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Elder Abuse Prevention Month, and further urge the citizens of Brownsville to share in the goal and responsibility of reducing abuse and neglect of people who are elderly or have disabilities. Done on this day, the 5th day of May 2015, signed Antonio Martinez, Mayor, and the City Commission.
I would like to thank the City of Brownsville for all their help, and I would also like to thank these ladies for their hard work and dedication. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Proclamation, Dr. Dominguez. Dr. Diana Dominguez.
Why don't you come up here? There we go. You got your support group right there. Okay. How are you doing? Good, good, good. It's good to see you.
So this
ahead.
is probably one of the happiest moments for me, because Dr. Dominguez was my English professor when I was getting my master's here at UTB. It was probably, she was the person that motivated me to go back to grad school. She is a phenomenal professor. She lives for her students. She is the most supportive professor that I know, and has the ability to find the strengths in every one of her students and applauds them for those strengths and encourages them to explore the possibilities with their future, with their education, with everything. To her, there are no limits. The sky's the limit. And she would always encourage us to apply for conferences. That was part of her curriculum. And for someone like me, and maybe the rest of my fellow graduate students, we had never really experienced that before in a graduate class. And I remember thinking, what is wrong with this woman? Why is she forcing us to apply for a conference that I'm probably not even going to go to because I'm afraid of speaking in public and I probably won't get accepted? Why will anybody want to read a 20-page research paper on something that I don't even know what it means? And at that time, I didn't understand why she was doing it. And I'm here today because it was that foundation, what she instilled in me, to really not limit myself and to believe in myself. And I actually attended a conference and I presented a paper, and I have her to thank for that. And when, I won't say if, but when I continue to get a doctoral degree in English, it will be because of her. It will be because of what she taught me and the rest of our class. And as a testament to the type of professor that she is, the students that were with me in grad school are unable to be here tonight. I contacted almost all of them, and they're all either UTB or TSC professors. So I think that's a huge testament to how wonderful of a professor she is, and the fact that she knows how to get the job done. So the recognition tonight is because she was chosen as one of the UT Regent's distinguished professors. And I wanted to surprise her with a proclamation. She was on sabbatical, so it was hard to actually keep it a surprise. And lo and behold, about a month later, she was chosen as the UT Fellow. And that is a distinction that no one from Brownsville or the Valley has ever been awarded. So she is part of a select few, an elite circle, and not only is she a Hispanic, but she's a woman and she is representing Brownsville. So it is a huge accomplishment that we should all be very proud of. And she is in our own backyard. So with that, I will continue. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing and commending Dr. Diana Dominguez, PhD, on her significant achievements in the field of education. Whereas Dr. Diana Dominguez moved to Brownsville at age 14, graduated in the second class of Pace High School, received a bachelor's degree in journalism from the University of Texas at Austin, a Master of Arts in English from the University of Texas Pan American, and a doctorate in medieval Irish literature with a feminist and gender studies focus from Texas Tech University. And whereas Dr. Diana Dominguez never wanted to teach anywhere but in the Brownsville area, and is now associate professor in the Department of English at the University of Texas at Brownsville, where she teaches primarily ancient to medieval literature, women's literature, sophomore introduction to literature, and creative writing. And whereas Dr. Diana Dominguez research interests include medieval women's writing, children's and young adult literature, gender issues in popular culture, especially film and television, and the scholarship of teaching and learning, with a focus on technology-supported teaching. And whereas Dr. Diana Dominguez is currently working on a book that examines the work of L. Frank Baum of Wizard of Oz fame, who wrote 3 series for teen girls between 1906 and 1919 under the pseudonym Edith Van Dyne, and his philosophy regarding the place girls should have in the 20th century. And whereas the University of Texas System Academy of Distinguished Teachers recognizes outstanding educators at UT's 9 academic institutions, and all members are past recipients of the Regent's Outstanding Teaching Award, which Dr. Diana Dominguez received last year. And whereas Dr. Diana Dominguez has been inducted into the University of Texas System Academy of Distinguished Teachers in recognition of her work, and is one of only 4 this year in the entire UT system, and the only one representing the Rio Grande Valley. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, And on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby recognize, honor, and commend Dr. Diana Dominguez for her unwavering commitment to educating the youth of Brownsville and the Rio Grande Valley. Done on this, the 5th day of May, 2015, signed Antonio Martinez, Mayor, and the City Commission.
Want to thank you so much for this honor. It's especially gratifying that comes from the city of Brownsville, which is my adopted home, and I've left several times but always come back. So this is home. I'm definitely like to thank my parents who are able to share this with me here, and they've always been great support. My parents are right here. They're right here. Hugo and Andre Dominguez. They're my rock. So to have this proclamation come from one of my ex-students, I have to say that, as teachers, like parents, aren't supposed to have favorite kids, but we do. And Deborah has always been one of my shining stars. And so it's particularly emotional for me because she really was a very special student. So a teacher's greatest hope is that she has a lasting positive influence on her students. I'm, of course, very, very honored by the awards that I got from the UT system. But the greatest reward is to be remembered fondly by ex-students. And I'm very proud to say that I do have lots of ex-students who constantly email me and ask me and we get together for lunch, and so they become more than just students. My greatest reward as a teacher is seeing my students succeed beyond what I can teach them in the classroom about English or literature. Deborah's a shining example, and I'm very, very proud of her. I thank you deeply once again for honoring me for the work that truly feeds my soul and fills my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Proclamation, Hannah High School Theater Troupe.
Hi, congratulations.
Why don't you all stand up here so we can take your picture, okay? That'd be good. Move back this way so you can all fit in. Yeah, the man with the plaque stands in the middle, okay? That's good. Can you get them all in, Robert? Okay, good.
This proclamation is one that I'm very, very proud of myself. I feel like we're ending my first term where it all started at Hannah High. Mr. Rodriguez was also my theater arts teacher. It's no surprise that that's one of my one of my favorite things, the arts. And I can say that his class definitely prepared me for all of the things that came in my adult life, which will prepare these kiddos for their future. And I'm waiting for these photos. Okay, are we good? And so one of my favorite classes that I ever can remember or even being around is with Mr. Rod. So many wonderful memories, and some of the best days of my high school life were in his class. And I've kept in touch with him through Facebook, and I was able to see you guys climb and climb and climb and win and see all of the good news. And I was very, very, very proud. And so I reached out to your teacher and I said, I need to recognize these kids because I see so much of myself in you, although I wasn't a champion theater person. I see so much of myself in you when I was that age, and I had so many questions about what I was going to be when I grew up, but I, lived in the moment, and everything I had went to those days. And so he agreed to let me honor you all, and we're proud to have you here. And I'm going to go ahead and read your proclamation that you very, very proudly have brought back to your city. And we're very proud to honor you here. You've brought great honor to us, and keep up the good work. And I really, truly hope to someday see one of you guys on Broadway or in a movie. That would be easier for me to see, right? And something really, really cool. I know you can do it, and you have had the most wonderful teacher, and you will never forget him for the rest of your life, because that's where I am. And so let me begin and read your proclamation. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing and congratulating the Hannah High School Theater Troupe on their 2015 Class 6A UIL District and Area Championship. Whereas Homer Hannah High School opened its door to Brownsville students in 1967 and is one of the 6 high schools in Brownsville Independent School District. And whereas this group of 20 students under the direction of Mr. Joe Rodriguez performed a Pulitzer Prize-winning play, Water by the Spoonful, by Kiara Alegria Hughes, about an Iraq War veteran struggling to find his place in the world, condensed to under 40 minutes from 2.5 hours, to win the Zone A UIL competition against the other Cameron County schools on March 25th, 2015, to advance to the district competition. And whereas, after making performance adjustments based on judges' remarks, the very next day performed the same play against 6 additional schools and once again prevailed to become the district champions. Whereas, on March the 30th, 2015, the Hannah High School Theater Troupe outperformed 6 more schools from the Cameron and Hidalgo counties at the UIL by-district competition to become the only school in the Rio Grande Valley to advance to the UIL area competition comprised of all of the South Texas and Laredo area. Whereas, once again, the Hannah High School Theater Troupe prevailed to compete at the UIL region level, comprised of 6 schools representing South Texas from San Antonio to the Rio Grande Valley. And whereas, despite completing their schoolwork assignments throughout the competitions, keeping their grades up, battling the flu, and the Hannah High School Theater Troupe took 6th place in honors in the UIL regional finals, becoming one of the top 24 theater troupes in the state of Texas. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by the virtue of the authority vested in the charter of said city, and behalf of all of our citizens, do hereby recognize and commend and congratulate the Hannah High School Theater Troupe on being the 2015 6A UIL District and Area Theater Champions, done on this 5th day of May, 2015, Antonio Martinez, Mayor, and the City Commission.
To the leaders of Brownsville, city commissioners, and mayor, I thank you so much for allowing us to be here, to giving us a little bit of your time for this proclamation. It's an amazing thing for us, and I thank you so much because it makes a beautiful memory for my seniors. This is something that they'll never, ever forget. And as my student, thank you so much for all that you do. And I'm glad that you enjoyed my class and that it taught you some things. And so for those of you that are my seniors right here that have been with me for 4 years, this is a beautiful memory, beautiful experience. And now, with your permission, city commissioners and mayor, I would like to introduce to you the person who is in charge of all the theaters in BISD, Mr. Timothy Jones.
On behalf of BISD, Hannah High School, and the Department of Fine Arts, we humbly thank you for this award. Thank you so much.
Thank you for all your work, and guys, great, great work. Keep it up, okay? Keep going.
I meant it when I said a movie. Congratulations. Keep up the good work, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Proclamation, Help Foster an Animal Day. I believe they have a presentation prior to the proclamation. It's a Help Foster an Animal Day.
Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, here they come here.
Is there anyone here for this proclamation?
Your son?
My daughter, Greta. Okay, why don't you guys step up here? Okay. Alicia, you're going to stand up there? Okay, right there, girls. That's good, just so we can have a photo, okay? The proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing June 11th, 2015 as Help Foster an Animal Day in our city. Whereas more than 2.7 million healthy dogs and cats are euthanized annually nationwide, and whereas there are organizations and people working together to try to put an end to the killing of these animals, and whereas the Brownsville Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or SPCA, has a foster pet program where there have been approximately 50 foster parents who have assisted in this program, and whereas the Brownsville SPCA provides foster parents with food and veterinarian services for the animals, and where it is important that the residents of our community become aware of the need for animal foster homes, and whereas animal foster parents provide love, shelter, and socialization for these animals until they can find a forever home, and whereas Pet Appreciation Week is June the 5th through June the 11th, and it's a good time to remind people of animals that need forever homes to promote awareness of the SPCA foster care program. Now we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, by virtue of the authority invested by the charter of said city and on behalf of all of our citizens, do hereby proclaim June 11, 2015 as Help Foster an Animal Day, and further call upon the citizens of Brownsville to participate in efforts to help find forever homes for the homeless animals. Done on this 5th day of May 2015, Antonio Martinez, Mayor, and the City Commission. And I'm going to have to, in the aura of transparency, the young lady that's going to be reading something there, I believe, should be known that it's my granddaughter, okay?
We would like to thank you for declaring this proclamation, and in connection with all of this, we will be having an animal food drive during the week from May 5th to May 11th.
Okay, Elisa, thank you so much. Another round of applause.
Sorry.
Number 4, presentations, Employee of the Month.
Mayor, members of the commission, we have given out some great awards to some great people today. As you know, May is Police Memorial Week and month in the city of Brownsville. We recognize one of our public safety employees with the honor of the Employee of the Month for May. And this year, let me welcome and honor Officer Alejandro Garcia. Officer Garcia is not a motorcycle officer, but he does help in that cause. He has been with the city for 6 years. He was hired in April of 2009. One of the great traits of being a good officer is initiative and self-motivation. Officer Garcia soon learned, as a patrol officer for the city of Brownsville, that prevention of crimes is just as important as enforcing the laws. And he took it upon himself to look at ideas of preventing drunk driving in our city. Initiated with the blessing of our police chief and his command staff, working on no refusal policies within the city, volunteers to present to groups the dangers of drunk driving, and also has been instrumental in helping instruct, teach our officers, incoming officers and our current officers, to keep pace with the rules and the enforcement and the prevention of drunk driving in our city, to the point that he has been recognized by Mothers Against Drunk Driving, the MAD organization, for his efforts in the prevention of drunk driving in our city. So we're very proud of him. As Employee of the Month, he receives a wristwatch. Let me see. It is a guy. This is not a badge, it's a pin. So. Thank you. And we got a new style of Employee of the Month plaque. That,
Wow.
We got the bluish color on it for the police department.
Nice.
And also his family's here with him. So we share this honor with him and his family and congratulate him. And obviously he has a few words for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm completely honored and humbled to receive this. When I first was told about this, was Commander Etheridge. He called me to his office. The first thing he told me, sit down. I said, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. No, he told me about this nomination. I was thrilled, speechless. I want to thank him, Chief Orlando Rodriguez, for this great opportunity and for their trust. They trust in me, and that's really, really appreciate that. Also, I want to thank my wife. She's the one that's been supporting me since day one. It's been tough. I've been in law enforcement for 10 years already, and I remember the first day when I first wore my first police uniform. I said to myself, we're going to be, in 10, 20 years. Well, thank God I'm over here in front of you guys. Thank you very much. I want to thank also my son, my daughter that's here. They're the great motivation of my life. My parents, my brothers, they're also here. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you and your family.
Item number 5, consent agenda items, items A and B.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6.
Boards and commissions, consideration and action to appoint 2 members to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Good evening, Mike.
We have 2 vacancies on the Planning Commission that require your attention. In the binder, you have a listing, I believe, of 5 individuals who have previously applied expressing an interest to serve on the Planning Commission. Again, we have 2 vacancies, and here to answer any questions.
Mayor, I'd like to appoint Mr. Derek Benavides. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. I'd like to move to appoint Ronald Mills.
Second.
Second. Oh,
All those in favor say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion carries. You've got your 2 members. Thank you. Thank you.
Public hearings, item number 7. Public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 2015-1600 to authorize the city manager to abandon and close a portion of East Street right-of-way described as a .043 acre tract of land adjacent to Lot 12, Block 325, and Lot 6, Block 329, a la entrada addition.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This portion of right-of-way is not being used by the city, and we have a request by the adjacent property owner to abandon and close the right-of-way. We're going to get a fair market value. We recommend approval.
Okay, this is a first reading on this ordinance. Any other comments on it? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Motion to
To
close?
close the public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Would approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 8, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 2015-1601 to authorize the city manager to abandon and close a portion of a 20-foot alley adjacent to lots 1 and 2, Block 10, Colonia Mexicana.
This alley is not needed by the city. Also, we're getting fair market value. We also recommend approval.
Okay, it's again, public hearing, first reading.
Motion to close public hearing? I'm sorry.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Would approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 9, second public hearing and action on protested ordinance number 235-2015-004-S to allow apartments in a dwelling G, DG, for Lot 25 and Block 28 of El Valle Grande subdivision, Section 3, located near Alton Glore Boulevard and Paris Street.
Noe?
Good evening, Commissioners. This is a second reading for a case that was before this commission on March the 17th and also on April the 7th and was tabled by this commission. This is a specific use. As you can see on the map projected on the screen, is the area shaded in red. It's for a specific use for 6 apartments.
Don't we need a supermajority for this?
Yes,
But
it's
we
a
don't
protected
have-
case at this time by the neighbor with more than 20% within the 200 feet of the property.
We don't even have a supermajority present, do we?
Well, I guess it would be from those present. Now, this case was tabled. It did pass the first hearing, and between the first and second hearings, I was approached by this gentleman, Mr. Hinojosa, and his wife, and we later visited with the other neighboring residents. They did have some opposition. If you have any questions for them, they said they'd make themselves available. And I want to thank Noe and Michael for reaching out to me and to them. But, I mean, I guess it's a public hearing. We
Right.
allow them.
Sure.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Carlos Hinojosa y primero que nada, señor alcalde, señor administrador, honorables miembros del Cabildo, muchas gracias por darnos la oportunidad de hablar aquí. Nosotros somos de Brownsville y con mucho orgullo pertenecemos a la población de pequeños empresarios, razón tan importante por la cual podemos estar aquí en esta sesión de Cabildo y no así la mayoría de nuestros vecinos que aquí representamos, nuestros negocios con más de 25 y 30 años de existir aquí en Brownsville. Cuando se nos ha presentado la oportunidad de expandir nuestros negocios, hemos seguido y respetado los estatutos y reglamentos, restricciones de acuerdo con el área en la que hemos decidido invertir. Desafortunadamente, para el caso de nuestros terrenos localizados en la avenida Alton Glore y terrenos adyacentes, existen restricciones de construcción y de vivienda, puesto que están destinados a construcción única y exclusivamente para casas de habitación unifamiliar y con un cierto número de pies cuadrados de vivienda y materiales señalados en los documentos públicos de nuestra ciudad. En base a esto, hemos construido nuestra casa familiar, valuada en $249,000, y aunado al terreno adyacente, contribuimos con un $9,800 de impuestos. Nosotros no estamos de acuerdo en que se permita la construcción de departamentos o negocios de cualquier tipo en esta área que venga a afectar nuestra seguridad, el buen vivir y el futuro de nuestros hijos, así como también la plusvalía de nuestra propiedad. A veces algunas personas piensan que aquí en Brownsville todo se puede y terminan haciendo malas inversiones en áreas restringidas por ahorrarse algunos dólares y no comprar áreas comerciales en vez de residenciales. En ocasiones, sabiendo que la gente no participa, en muchas ocasiones por problemas de horario o de trabajo, lo cual pudimos comprobar en la visita de nuestros vecinos de no solamente 200 pies de retirado del área donde estamos ahorita protestando. Afortunadamente, en esta ocasión sí pudimos recibir la carta de rezonificación para este solar, donde se planea construir departamentos de lo cual estamos en desacuerdo y contamos con el apoyo y respaldo de nuestros vecinos y nos oponemos a que esto se cumpla y exigimos que se respeten, las restricciones establecidas. Agradezco al señor comisionado asignado para nuestra colonia, el señor John Villarreal, por ser parte de la encuesta y por dedicar parte de su tiempo y escuchar nuestras demandas y las razones de protesta de nuestro vecindario. Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias. John, is there anybody that's here that's in favor of this, or just all opposition? Well, you're in opposition. Okay, I'm just... Yeah, why don't you let her, ladies?
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Dear Mayor, Tony Martinez, Commissioners, and City Manager, Charlie Caper. My name is Susana Hinojosa. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express how I feel about this ordinance and the reason why we oppose it 100%. In order to explain our current situation, I have to go back in time several years. When my husband and I bought Lot 27, one lot away from Lot 25, the lot currently in question, we too wanted to use our lot for business purposes. After doing research, and to our surprise, we found out that the lot had a restriction stating that only single-family dwellings could be built. Since we couldn't build our business, we decided to build our house instead. It turned out to be the perfect place to raise a family. So much so that 3 years ago, we bought the lot next to our house as an investment for our children. El Valle Grande subdivision has a 20-year residential-only restriction on lots 23 through 30. After that restriction expires, it has two other 10-year consecutive restrictions imposed by the Carnisi Family Trust and El Valle Properties. It is only fair to say that if we complied with the imposed restrictions, these same restrictions should also be complied and followed by the interested party who wants to rezone our neighborhood and wants this ordinance to be approved. Why should they be the exception to the rule? If we complied, they should comply as well. Investors sometimes buy residential lots in the hopes of later converting them into commercial properties. It costs less money. I don't know if that is the case with this particular situation, but it very well could be, and it's wrong. For our two properties, we pay approximately $9,000 in property taxes every year. This is no pocket change. A property paying $9,000 has no business having an apartment complex as its neighbor. Not only that, but our property is in danger of losing value. With all due respect, put yourselves in our shoes. It is an uncomfortable situation. I have all the necessary documentation, and I also have a signed petition from our neighbors where they are also in disagreement with this ordinance. They express their concern with theft, illegal activity, the constant moving of different tenants, altering the tranquility of our neighborhood, among other things. I express this concern as well. We trust that the best decision and appropriate decision will be made in regards to the safety, security, well-being, the protection of our investment, of my family, neighbors, and surrounding community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well said. Well done.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Dr. Padgington. That's my piece of property in question. And when I moved to Brownsville 10 years ago, I wanted somewhere to live and to rent that was near the hospital, that would be close, because we all know we have long hours, and there really wasn't anything. So now that I've been here for 10 years, I think there's a need for this. Somewhere that's close to the hospital, a nice piece of property where exhausted professionals can go and live. Eventually, I wound up buying a house here. Brownsville now is my home. And I think there's a need for this. And I think that the city has seen that as well. and I understand other people's concerns, but I think that this is a legitimate use for that property, and I think that will well serve our city.
Thank you,
That's all I
thank
have
you,
to say.
thank you, Doctor. Appreciate
Doctor,
it.
are you going to be residing at this property?
No, I won't. I actually bought a home in Brownsville.
Okay.
But I think that it would have a great use for other professionals, that when they come here and they need somewhere to, at least temporarily, before they move in permanently and buy a home.
And this
could reside.
property in question that you're proposing to build here, will it be rented out to physicians or physicians' assistants?
Absolutely.
Or is it for the general public exclusive? I mean, let's say somebody wants to go rent from you, is it going to be available for them, or is it exclusively for
Oh, no,
PAs
it's
and
for, it's for whoever, but I think that it's designed for a population that, such as myself, who didn't have the opportunity to live near the hospital in a suitable unit when they first moved here.
I'm just trying to clarify because, obviously the pitch that you're giving us is that for medical professionals.
Well, it's for
But-
anyone, but I think
but anybody
that-
in general could go
Oh,
rent, not just-
absolutely.
okay.
It's not going to be exclusive to anyone.
Okay.
But I think that there's a need for it.
Have you considered, given the many restrictions on this particular piece of property and just the mere fact that someone in business doesn't want so many headaches and hoops to jump through, have you considered selling this and
You know,
doing that elsewhere?
I think that where it's located makes it ideal for the purpose I'm talking about. Going through hoops, I've gone through a lot to get to where I am in my life, and this is just another hoop, another project. But I think that this is a very good use for our city property.
Appreciate your comments. I believe there's another gentleman behind you.
City Commissioners and Mayor, my name is Manuel Salazar, and I'm a real estate agent in Brownsville with 15 years experience. And I can tell you, what we can always discriminate about somebody. The purpose of him is to build for professionals, but you know that nobody can discriminate against anybody. That's the reason we can't say, oh, it's gonna be just for professionals, it's gonna be for this one, because the law doesn't allow us to do that. You know, he has a nice project, it's a real need in that area. I rent apartments, I'm usually when the hospital is gonna contact somebody, they contact me to do the tours for the new physicians that comes around. And they rent, before they move their family down to Brownsville, they rent by themselves for 6 months to a year. Because of the kids are in school, they sign the contract, and after they move, then they will, look for a family house to move. But in the meantime, they look for an apartment or one place to live. I rent quite a few of them on Vista Verde. They are, a big distance from the hospital, from Valley Regional. What I'm saying is also with the new apartments coming in into the Brownsville Country Club, it's gonna be a little more traffic for them. What you want, or we were thinking about is, hey, they can, ride their bike, they can also run every day through the hospital. If they are tired, they can go into 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes bike ride to go to the hospital. They cannot discriminate. We cannot say, hey, it's going to be just for physicians, because we cannot allow to discriminate. It's a clinic right next, not that far from there, like less than a half a block, the JK Clinic. And it's also, sometimes the physicians are tired, they would like to place to stay, or the nurses that they can stay a few hours. And it's a nice place that we can rent. We try to promote it this way, but we cannot discriminate against somebody. I have 15 years experience. He's a physician and he's also a businessman. Let's don't let this money go somewhere else. What's happened, if not, they go and invest it on the stock market, McAllen, Edinburgh, or the Upper Valley, and the money goes. This is money that he earns in Brownsville. Let him spend them in Brownsville. This doesn't gonna be into a bad project. I work with him. I can tell you, he always worked with really nice first class project, and I think we should consider this one and approve this project.
Nobody's discriminating your project. Only
No,
thing is
no,
the
the
pitch-
people,
pitch-
no, that we cannot
yeah.
discriminate against the people.
And nobody's discriminating it, but the
Yeah.
pitch that was brought to the city commission
Yeah.
is that it could be used for physicians, for PAs.
Yeah,
for
that's the
people
main
like that.
purpose.
In other words, that's a pitch that your client used with us.
Yeah, no,
All
no,
I'm saying is
that's
it's
right.
just there needs to be-
The whole thing is, try to rent it to a physician because of the way, we promote it, the access that we have to the physicians
But
that
if
they
it's-
look.
But
Yeah.
if it's not a physician or anybody within the medical field, anybody in general
We cannot
can go
deny
rent it.
them. We cannot, what I'm trying to say is that we cannot deny them. You know, if somebody comes and say, hey, I want to rent this place, you know, I want to rent an apartment.
No.
I cannot deny, you know, we cannot tell them no just on the basis of.
Yeah.
I think I understand the logic of what they're saying is because they said, you know, well, we don't want apartments in our neighborhood. And, you know, it's kind of like saying, well, just because you live in apartments doesn't mean that you're going to be noisy or, you know.
Yeah, because he's
I think that's what he's trying to
you know,
say. He's
probably
not
less
saying
than
that you're
less than
discriminating.
300 yards from their house too.
I
And
think
they
it
are
was
not
worded.
noisy. I'm in that neighborhood too. And I walk and run every day.
I think
and
all
ride
of
my
those
bike.
are valid arguments and good points. And really, the apartments aren't
Because this
the
is not a
initial
big
concern.
complex. This is just to fit the need,
Yes,
you know, for what
but
he's looking.
the initial concern was that this gentleman and another owner in the past tried to rezone and couldn't, so they made the investment of building their home, and now someone else is going to be allowed to rezone.
Because remember also, the city of Brownsville cannot enforce the deed restrictions. Deed restrictions are for the owner of the lot and the owner of the subdivision.
Okay, appreciate your comments. Okay, anyone else?
Thank you.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
I think you wanted to say
Oh.
something, the gentleman.
I'm sorry. Okay, if you're going to bring something up new, is that algo nuevo? I mean, todavía estás en contra, ¿verdad? Sí, ok, yo creo que ya sabemos la gente que está en contra y la gente que está a favor. I think basically, for my perspective, it's like a matter of fairness. People have to be treated equally across the board.
Right.
So, and it's not a disparaging remark on anybody, and it's not about not spending money in Brownsville or going somewhere else. It's just that people have to be fair, and if they relied upon something when they built, then I think that's the real concern of some of these folks that are protesting, as best as I can tell. So if we had a motion to close public hearing in a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Deny?
Move to
Second.
deny, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, is that 1, 2, 3, anybody?
We need that.
Okay, we have 1, 2, 3.
Aye.
I'm going to vote to deny. Okay. All right, so, and then Jessica is going to,
Vote to deny.
okay. So it's unanimous. It will be denied. Okay? Anyway, thank you, everybody, for sharing your thoughts. We hope that we try to be fair to everybody. Next,
Item number 10, public comment. Eloy Consideration and action regarding the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation's recommendation to spend $200,000 of Type B funds for the purpose of distributing 50,000 Brownsville Museum of Fine Arts tickets passes to the Brownsville Independent School District students.
Good evening, City Commission. I just want to ask, with all respect, to be able to table this item. We're needing some documentation from the Meadows Foundation, which is imperative for you to take action on this item. So we'd like to ask you, with our respect, to table this item today.
Ms. Abel?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item will be tabled.
Consideration and action to set a special city commission meeting on Wednesday, May 20th, 2015 for the post-election business. Mayor, Commissioners, I'm requesting that we have a special city commission meeting on the 20th because the dates to meet with, when Cameron County's be done with their canvassing, which is, I believe, May 18th, on that Monday. So that this meeting will allow us to have any post-election business.
It'll be wishful thinking for my birthday. That's my birthday the day, so keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, guys.
Would approve. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Michael. Number 13.
Consideration and action to acknowledge the financial statements and cash investment report for the city of Brownsville for the second quarter that ended March 31st, 2015.
Okay, and Lupe, this is what you gave us here, right?
That is correct, Mayor.
Okay.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, I'll be presenting the financial statements and cash investment report for the second quarter ended March 31st. Before you have a summary report, the financials binded in a green binder. Within there, they have a PowerPoint presentation that will also be up on top. I'll briefly go to the financials. If you have any questions, go and stop me. I'll answer best I can. We have some financial highlights. Sales tax are exceeding last year's numbers by 5.12%, but are only 1.1% above budget projections. Tax levy collections are about equal as last year. Veterans bridge revenues have increased 16% from the same period as last year, 28% above budget projections. Building permits values increased by 30% for the same period as fiscal year 2014. Unemployment rate for 2014 and 2013 has decreased. Unemployment rate for March 2015 is 7.1%, which is a good indicator. Utility expenditures are 8% higher than the same quarter as last year. Current hotel motel tax receipts are slightly lower than last year, 1.88%. Before you have a sales tax comparison between last fiscal year through March 31st, you have almost 669 more than last year, 5.12%, but only 150,000 more than last year budget-wise. Sales tax bar graph indication from fiscal year 2006 through current. Same schedule as the bridge revenue. Also, you show 119,000 more year-to-date actual, or 16%. Budget-wise, we're up $192,000. Veteran Bridge, also a bar graph indicating the history of the collections. Building permits, as you indicate here, we have a 30.65% above. Our permit values for our residential and commercial have increased compared to last year. Building permits history from fiscal year 2005 to current. You see, it's been leveled out since 2012, 2013, 2014. We expect 2015 to be about the same. PUB cash transfers, you see a line graph on the top, and at the bottom you see actual numbers. Unemployment rates, you see a history as it's coming down throughout the calendar year. And current unemployment rate for March is 7.1%. Balance sheet, general fund, we save assets, equal liabilities in the amount of $51,461. General fund budget, this is a fund balance summary. This is basically, you have your beginning fund balance, your projected revenues and budget revenues, less your projected expenses. We estimate the unassigned fund balance to be at $14,881,000 or 14.57%. This is just an estimate. Through conservative budget practices, we always surpass that. Statement of general fund revenues, expenditures, and change in fund balance. On here, we always have, through March 31st, sales tax almost 92%. These items that come out here non-property tax and franchise fees, these are always at this level during this year. These items are dispersed on a quarterly basis, and they are usually received the May. I'll show you a bar graph that gives a little bit easier representation how to read this. This is a bar graph I indicated. The first column, you have your actual revenues through fiscal year 2014 through March. Second bar graph on here by orange is your actual revenues through fiscal year 2015 through the month of March, and then your budget, the last column. If you see the last column on here, it's kind of hard to see, but on your point on there, you show that there's increases in the revenues from fees and service, property taxes. All these are pretty much in the positive, which is a good indicator. Expenditures have also on the expenditures, we are below 50% of our budget expenditures. Also show you a bar graph indicating this. On the comparison, also similar bar graph indicating the expenditures between fiscal years. You have a slight increases on the expenditures part, but we are within budget. Unassigned fund balance, you see on the history of unassigned fund balance have increased from 2011. There was a slight decrease in fiscal 2014. There's a history of the fund balance indicators, as indicated before. For 2014, we had a 15.59% reserve balance. This is a budget. This is we always budget. This is one of the indicators. When we present a budget, we always have very conservative, have a low budget fund balance compared to actuals. There's always a significant difference there, which is positive for us. This is the general fund classification. These are details of the assigned fund balance, the committed fund balance, restricted, unspendable, and then the total unreserved. Convention and tourism fund. Basically, we have revenues under expenditure 665,000, but there's a general fund transfer of 336,000 yet to be made. There's also revenues from hotel motex that are coming in month to month. Community development, they show a deficit of 170,000, but that will be offset against revenues that will be reported in subsequent months. Non-body debt service fund, we have a fund balance of March 31st of $1,800. Bonded debt service funds, we have revenues over expenditures of $925,000. We've already made our debt service payment for the February 15th. Next debt service payment will be August of 2015. We have a projected fund balance, a fund balance of March 31st of $3.166 million. Landfill tipping fees, right now we have show a deficit of $459,000. There are some revenues that are not reflected on this report, but because we do have a fund balance, we have a current fund balance of $102,000. Airport fund, again, revenues under expenditures of $345,000, but there's a general fund transfer that's always required of $1 million that's yet to be transferred. Bridge fund, we had a beginning fund balance of $1,016,000. Total revenues collected to date, being including interest $702,000. We have a positive net position balance of $1,718,000. Motor vehicles parking system, we have revenues in excess of expenditures of $81,000. Public transit fund, we have your operating revenues, you decrease by your operating expenses, you had a net loss. Net loss, usually 50% of the loss is funded by the federal government. Then you have your revenues, various miscellaneous revenue included state operating assistance that assist in covering the net loss. Right now, to date, we have $134,202 that's been transferred to operate the transit system. Gulf Center, similarly, we have a deficit. Revenues are under expenditures, but there is, again, a general fund transfer that needs to be made. Medical insurance fund. Medical insurance fund is doing very well through the month of March. We have our receipts or contributions of $5.8 million, expenditures of $5.2 million. We're in the positive of $570,000, plus the beginning fund balance of $1,054,000. We have a fund balance as of March 31st of $1.6 million. This is a detailed investment report. This itemizes the demand accounts, certificate deposits, and investments. As of March 31st, we have a cash investments of $61 million. This report right here gives you a calculated weighted average maturity. Basically, in all the investments, the weighted average days to maturity were averaged about 65 days. Our investment policy doesn't allow us to go more than 270 days. And our current yield that we're getting is 0.20 basis points. It's low, but that's the way the market is right now. And this is a portfolio of how our investments are distributed, basically demand accounts, money market accounts, 78%, public investment funds, 9%, and certificate deposit, 13%. That concludes presentation. Do you have any questions?
Move
to acknowledge. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14.
Item number 14, consideration action on resolution number 2015-047 to approve application to the Automobile Burglary and Theft Prevention Authority grant application and to accept the terms and conditions of the grant application.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Commission. Consideration and action is needed to approve application to the Automobile Burglary and Theft Prevention Grant application. This grant provides financial support for combating auto theft and burglary in Brownsville.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Anybody opposed?
I was
Motion
waiting for Rick to say it.
Passed. Thank you.
Item 15, consideration and action to authorize and approve an interlocal agreement between the City of Brownsville Police Department and the Brownsville Independent School District Police Department for the use of a 800 megawatts trunked radio system.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. We're asking for your authority to renew our memorandum of understanding, or MOU, with BISD Police so they can continue to use our communication system for their police needs, and it's just a renewal of the MOU. We ask that you approve this.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Item 16, considering action for the allocation of funding in the amount of $250,000 to establish the City of Brownsville's first urban forestry program management plan.
Good evening, Santana.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners. Tonight, we're requesting funding from the plastic bag fee in the amount of $250,000. This request before you this evening is to fund a tree inventory study, which would be the first complete study conducted south of Austin, Texas. And will also provide funding to purchase trees and other planting materials throughout the city right-of-ways and city properties. Right now, I'd like to introduce our city forester, Mr. Roy Reyes, and he will provide detailed information on implementing a urban forestry management plan.
Thank you. Reyes?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. As you said, I am Roy Reyes, the city forester. The request before you this evening is to implement an urban forestry management plan and fund a tree inventory study to provide funding for the purchase of trees and other planting materials. Creating an urban forestry management plan is an important tool in managing our urban forests and should be the first step in the process of caring for our city trees. Without a management plan for our urban forests, the city will not be able to plan efficiently for a care of our urban forests. A management plan addresses the planning, the planting, the protecting, conservation, storm damage mitigation, and/or maintenance of our city trees. A plan reflects goals and objectives such as species and planting selection, consideration, condition assessments, maintenance needs, and potential planting sites. Having such a plan helps the city expedite the Federal Emergency Management Agency reimbursement in the event of a catastrophic storm event. A detailed pre-disaster inventory plan of parks and city street trees will provide the base for an efficient and timely post-disaster assessment to prepare for FEMA cost of reimbursement. A plan also provides for better habitat for the wildlife and for bringing neighborhoods and communities together. And lastly, it is the city to retain, also helps the city retains the Tree City USA status, which we have received for 16 years. The plan will provide an inventory to document our current locations and conditions of our city urban forests. Secondly, it will assist us in gathering pre- and post-storm data. And lastly, allow for a tree canopy study, which tells us the average tree canopy over streets and sidewalks. As you are aware, tree canopies help reduce heat. This slide provides an overview of the benefits that will be realized by the city as a result of implementing an urban forestry management plan. We have worked hard to be recognized as Tree City USA for the past 16 years by the Arbor Day Foundation. The Tree City USA program is a national program that provides the framework for communities, forestry management for cities and towns across America. I am proud to tell you that Brownsville is the only city recognized as Tree City USA here in the Rio Grande Valley. The last slide shows our proposed budget for your consideration. Any questions?
I entertain a motion.
Well,
Can I-
Roy,
Wait, yeah, I think everybody has questions.
Can I ask how much we have in the recycling, the plastic bag fee fund? Pete?
He's got the number.
Here
Oh,
comes
okay.
Lupe.
Currently, as of March, you have 257,000.
So it would basically deplete all of our money.
Yeah, that's correct. We have average about 70,000 that comes in on a monthly basis.
And so this would be counting the trees that we have and possibly adding more trees?
Yes, ma'am. And the inventory will provide as far as where the trees are located, what types of trees we locate, and what areas we have trees. Where trees are needed in an area. Also, the inventory helps for the purpose of pruning, planting and stuff. That's what the tree
Like
management
better
plan is for.
maintenance?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that-
The maintenance of upkeeping of the trees and stuff.
Okay.
And also, the management plan will really help us with, in case of a disaster with the FEMA, based on, we would have a tree inventory report to submit, and being that we are in an area of hurricane, I think this would be something really important to implement in our city. We've already met certain standards. We got a tree ordinance. We meet the Tree City. The only thing lacking would be our tree inventory.
You didn't think you were gonna get 200 grand that easy, did you? Nothing good. No, hermano, my only concern is, obviously the controversial account where the money's coming from.
Okay.
And you'll see where we have to pay the price to answer to the citizen for what this money's being spent on. And you're
Okay.
talking to the guy that's been told no by FEMA. Actually, two people in the building have gone to FEMA and been told no. Do you have documentation where cities that have this kind of a plan in action, where they've shown the positive results from FEMA when they go to FEMA to be able to get the results? I don't have a problem, Roy. I mean, I'm all for this, as I'm sure most people will be. But simply, I want to be able to answer when a citizen comes up and says, you're using the money from the bag ban. Every time I go to Walmart, I'm sure you hear it, but we hear it more.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I was willing to report, if we do get this approved, I was willing to report after the inventory, the outcome of the inventory, stating, and then that, like I've explained to management, all the trees that we have in the city are considered to be assets. I mean, it's just like having a desk here, and the value of it, it's the same thing as having that. But no, I do understand that. We're asking for that amount, but we yet don't know exactly the cost of the inventory. This is just something just to.
Roy, let me give you a little help here. There is information from FEMA that you can get. Would you be so kind as to provide us, and I think we can move forward with this item if with a little caveat, and that's the caveat would simply be, we'd like to have more status reports. There is a status report that you can give us to give us the ability to do what we're going to do on the inventory report. There are, ways, Marina can tell you over there that there are ways to do this thing with some grant money as we go along. But the FEMA can provide you with some of those articles that the commissioners is looking for.
Correct.
And this is a good program. It's been recognized throughout the United States. And so whatever is at the pleasure of the commission, but it's a good program. But we also need to figure out how, in other words, explain to the public exactly how this money is being funneled, where it's going. And I think Larry Brown was sitting back there from the aviation director. There's a lot of trees out there by the airport, and if we're looking at a new airport, we could probably be able to do some substantial savings as we go along with that. So if it's done in a good fashion and with a good explanation, I think that, Roy, I know of your work, and it's good work. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
I will entertain a motion unless we have something else.
I move to approve. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries, Roy. Give us some good reports and kind of keep Santana in the loop and keep Charlie in the loop so that we can do this in a very orderly and good way. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You have to promise to put more shade trees at the library for the sign holders. Because I'm really burned.
Okay, number 17.
Purchase bids and contracts. Item number 17, consideration and action to authorize city staff to amend and renew the Brownsville Animal Regulation and Care Center contract for the management operations of the Catherine B. Stillman Animal Clinic.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners. Staff recommends the following: consideration and action to request authorization to extend the term contract for management and operations of the Catherine B. Stillman Animal Clinic for the Brownsville Animal Regulation and Care Center to Brownsville Spay and Neuter. This is the second of third terms request.
I hear a motion.
And staff recommends.
Staff recommends approval.
Second.
So this is to renew the contract for the
Spay and neuter services at the
Clinic.
Stillman Clinic.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 18, consideration and action to award a contract for window rehabilitation at Brownsville Fire Station 1.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, we're here for your consideration and action to award a contract for window rehabilitation at Brownsville Fire Station Number 1 to Torres Electric of Brownsville, Texas, the low responsive bidder, with a bid amount of $100,000 for the base bid and $88,000 for the alternate number 1, for a total contract amount of $188,000. Completion time for the project will be 90 consecutive days. Funding for this project is available through the Community Development Project Grant. The project architect, the administration of the fire department, and the grants department concur with this recommendation pending final approval of HUD.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much, sir.
Item 19, consideration and action to request authorization to approve an interlocal contract agreement between City of Brownsville and the Purchasing Cooperative of America from Region 3 Education Service Center.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, the Purchasing Department would like to request the authorization to approve an interlocal contract between the City of Brownsville and the Purchasing Cooperative of America of Region 3 of the Education Service Center. It's basically for the same as buy board, so we can procure any goods and services from them.
It's nice to see you. Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Item
Aye.
20,
Thank you.
consideration
Thank you,
and action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of a pothole patcher for the Public Works Department.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners. Tonight, we're requesting your approval to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of a new 2015 Pro Patcher unit, a pothole patcher, for this Public Works Department to Freightliner of Austin, Texas, in the amount of $147,380.70. This unit will serve as a replacement for at least one of the pothole patchers that the department submitted to the city auction in the past years due to the deterioration conditions. This unit will also provide support needed to the challenging tasks of filling and repairing over 25,000 square yards of damaged asphalt pavement and is capable of making effective pavement preventive repairs under all weather conditions. This is a procurement reflects the by board contracting price, and funding is in place.
I would gladly like to make the motion to purchase this.
Second.
Can you put it on the next political flyer?
We have a Cleopatra people.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Item
Number
21, consideration and action to request authorization to renew a term contract for uniforms for the Public Works Department.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, tonight we're requesting authorization for an extension of to renew a term contract for uniforms to Cintas Corporation of Mercedes, Texas, for the City of Brownsville Public Works Department. The original contract was awarded in April 2011, and with the options to extend the life of the contract for 4 additional 12-month periods at the original terms and with amendments, and shall expire on May 2016. This will be the 4th and last extension of the original contract's life. Funding is in place on 704 wearing apparel accounts 01-418, 44-415, and 44-424. We're asking you to approve this.
Hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Item
LaFawn.
22, consideration and action to request authorization to extend the term contract for airport engineering architectural services for the Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome back.
Very happy to see you again.
Happy to be here. I assure you. Yes. Mayor, City Commission, the City Commission is asked to consider an act on my recommendation that the contract with CH2M Hill be extended for the period that is stated. This contract is actually underway right now. It is funded by the FAA in its entirety and will represent the final 80% of the design for a new airport terminal. We believe it's particularly important, as Abraham Lincoln said, don't change horses in the middle of a stream. So we would recommend to you that you proceed on this next step, which is to allow CH2M Hill to continue to finalize the design for the new terminal.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, sir.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.